All I have to say after walking out of episode 12 of Chainsaw Man is bravo to the team responsible that made this masterpiece. I truly think this is MAPPA'S magnum opus as it stands, something that brought together an insane amount of talent in very One Punch Man Season 1 fashion, and just delivered so much about this source material that just was amplified with such quality directing, the beautiful voice actors, the 12 unique ending songs, and how they make me feel like at any possible moment, anyone could end up not being here anymore. I'm not sure if I was the only one feeling this anxiety, but when my boy Aki, after the credits were done playing and they transitioned to actual anime episode, he's taking his cigarette of Easy Revenge, and you can literally hear, especially if you're listening with headphones, there's an airplane. I was like, oh my god, are they going to end this episode with an airplane just crashing into that building and everyone's dead? And then instead, they decide to end it with his dream, Denji's dream about never opening up the door, and making me very unnerved on what that means. But everything about this show has just been so exciting, because rather than it just being these crazy devils fighting each other, while that was always exciting, and I mean, we finally get round 2 and it went way better for Denji in this episode, the thing that made this show pop was the character interactions and how everything led to one another. The manipulation with Makima, everything about it has just been 10 out of 10 for me. People can feel free to disagree, but that's how I feel, and this was hands down one of the best anime that I've seen all year, and honestly one of the best anime in the past few years, and I imagine with where we leave off, I mean the Gun Devil's getting closer and closer, I have every right to believe that Season 2 will be even better than what we just saw here, and I thought this shit was 10 out of 10, so I can't wait to see more. Now I do have a full live reaction to episode 12 on the Patreon, so consider supporting if you want to see that, but let's talk about this one, because this episode, it delivered on what it needed to. You literally end last week with Aki being strangled to death, and within a few minutes, I think it was about 3.5 minutes give or take before the opening kicked in, they dealt with this impossible situation. And the fact that we get to see that cigarette scene again, but actually from his point of view, and the fact that she actually took the cigarette back and said, you know what, let's just wait till you're older, till you're an adult and you need something to take the edge off. And the fact that we see this beast's hand open up and the cigarette's right there, as then he no longer has fear. He basically says, like, hey, it doesn't have eyes. It basically sees the fear. And the fact that he so casually walks up the arm and then just does a nice slice. I mean, at that point, I was like, girl, you better be running because this boy's about to cut you to pieces. And then to see her girl come in just, I don't know what's going on with her, man. Like, she's got some secrets in her closet from her casual jumping around in a couple episodes back when she basically looked like she was being possessed by something to then just how quietly she can pop up at a moment's notice. She says she sticks around because she wants the salary bonus, but I don't know. There's something about her that definitely is a little off, but I'm excited to see where that dynamic could go in the future. I think one of the funniest moments, I think, out of all 12 episodes, because Denji and Power in general are just comedy gold because they both share about the same level of brain cells between the two of them. I'm personally convinced that there isn't even a brain cell between the two of them, it's just an empty peanut shell that sometimes gets passed around to one or the other. But the way Denji can have these moments where you just can't help but side with him because you open up an elevator, there's just zombies everywhere. We literally, common sense says, hey, don't make a sound, they don't recognize us. Power and her goof ass just is like, hey, I'm gonna challenge you. My boy just lets the elevator close and he goes up to like the 13th floor and there's a moment with Power literally talking to Denji like, did you see what I just did? The only issue I have with that entire scene is we didn't get to see the moment where she realizes that he left her and that basically all these cool things that she thought she was doing, no one actually saw other than her, because that was absolutely comedy gold. But I thought what was interesting, and I do like that they did this, even though I think the guy's insane. Things that zombie shows typically do is initially when a zombie outbreak occurs, people are a little worried because what if they can turn back to being human, right? So the natural fear of, are you actually killing humans or are you just killing a monster that basically looks like the human you know? So this dude's basically saying like, don't you feel any like sorrow, remorse about killing these humans because they still are people? Denji's just like, nah, I don't got no human heart. We literally established that a couple episodes back. He doesn't feel anymore. This boy's literally pure devil through and through. And the fact that that's what kickstarts the entire fight scene, I absolutely love. I mean, what I really liked about it was Round 2 functioned very similar to that of Round 1, which of course it would. Not a lot of times pass and it's the same two characters fighting. But by putting them on a train, first they fall through the sky, they land on a moving train, and then they get inside the train. And these are some of my favorite scenes. You see it a lot in superhero shows or movies in general because basically a train is just the perfect location. It's cramped, there's not a lot of movement and you really have to restrict yourself. But when you have two giant blade monsters slicing and dicing, it becomes absolute carnage and the blood gets cramped, and at one point it basically looks like it's just pure red as far as the eye can see. But I gotta be honest, I didn't think Denji was gonna win. I thought Power was gonna pop up and that would be like the surprise sucker attack. But the fact that even after having his arms and his head saw completely shattered, they just do that classic splitting apart technique as he's just posing in the coolest way ever. I just was proud of Denji in this episode, man. Like, he really has grown a lot over these 12 episodes in terms of his skills and how he thinks a lot more outside the box, but most importantly, recognizes how easily he could get screwed over. And the fact of the matter was that they even decided to go back to the ball busters joke, but this time, rather than it being Aki's poor soccer balls getting absolutely shattered, this time easy revenge was here. And I was so glad that not only they didn't blue balls us with Aki not getting revenge, even if they didn't say to torture the guy. If there's been a man that deserves to be tortured, you could probably make the argument he probably deserves it for some of the shit he's done. But most importantly, I thought they weren't going to show us the scene at all, because they literally transitioned to a different scene. I was like, are you kidding me? Like it would work, but you can't tell me we're not going to see at least a couple of kicks with these goofballs. And then we do, and we have the exact same face that I think it was Aki made when his tongue was out and everything. It's just, I love what they're able to do with this show, man. It is so goofy, it is so silly, but I think that's what makes this week's ending song so perfect. Overall, would I say it's my favorite of the bunch? No, this was a good ending song through and through though, and I think if you take all 12 as a whole, masterpiece level directing. But the thing I continue to say is, even if maybe the music doesn't hit home with you 10 out of 10, right? It fits perfectly for the theme of the episode. We just see the casual day-to-day adventures of Power, Denji, and Aki, and they're going grocery shopping, they're playing on the swings, and it's goofy scenes, and we see Aki legit smile because he's kind of happy to have someone to talk to, even if they are kind of idiots and they cause him such distress that they put shit on his nose in the morning. The fact of the matter is, we got to see them just normal for a moment. We are in so much insanity at a moment's notice, how quickly characters can die at a moment's notice. Aki has barely any time left, and we get to just see them have dinner and have fun, as then when the ending's done playing, he then gets up and goes and has a cigarette on his balcony. And that's what I love about what they did with the directing. It wasn't just about having 12 unique ending songs, it was about having 12 unique ending songs that fit for the tone and theme of the episode, and the visual directing perfectly matched what the song was aiming to do. Like, this show to me is an absolute masterpiece. I think it's pretty crystal clear given how much I've hyped up this show. And this comes from someone who has no experience with the manga whatsoever, other than I've seen some panels online from time to time, and I said, damn, that chainsaw guy looks pretty cool. But the fact that you legit have me connected with all the characters, whether it's Makima with her manipulative attitude and those eyes that just send chills up my spine, the mystery of where characters like Aki and Denji and Power will truly go by the end of this run, and who's actually going to make it to the finish line. There's so much about this world, the complexity of the mechanics at play, but most importantly, that the thing that defines Chainsaw Man, it's not the crazy animation, it's not the crazy music or voice actors, is that it's a character series first and foremost, and all the exciting carnage that takes place just adds to the character writing in general, which a lot of these shows forget about, but Chainsaw Man made that front and center. So yeah, I'm excited for season 2 whenever we do get it. I can wait as long as needed. This was clearly a passion project, and I really hope the second season gets as much time and attention as this one did, but thoughts and feelings yourself on either this episode, the season as a whole, do let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Like I mentioned, there's a full live reaction to today's episode and most of the episodes for the season on the Patreon, so do consider supporting that if you so wish. And while you're there, you can also get yourself video shoutouts like a few are about to get here. So we got Furno19Z, Anonymous Person, and Jornis Pierre. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.